In part one of our conversation, we explored the harsh realities African nurses and healthcare workers face when it comes to balancing their demanding careers and personal lives. We uncovered the emotional and physical toll that the healthcare profession takes on marriage's burnout, financial strain, long-distance relationships, and the overwhelming pressure to always be strong. Tonight, in part two, we're shifting gears. We're not just talking about the problems. We're focusing on the solutions. Tonight, we're here to discuss how African nurses, doctors, and healthcare workers can save their marriages, rebuild trust, and ultimately lead healthier, more fulfilling lives both at home and in their careers. I know many of you have felt the weight of what we discussed earlier. You've heard about the sleepless nights, the missed anniversaries, the emotional exhaustion that comes from constantly giving to others, but never taking the time to care for yourself. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be this way. There is a way forward, a way to heal the healer, to rebuild the connection with your partner, your family, and most importantly, with yourself. The first step is recognizing that you cannot pour from an empty cup. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, especially for nurses and healthcare workers. You're so used to putting everyone else's needs ahead of your own. But here's the truth, you matter too. If you don't take the time to recharge, to care for your own mental and emotional well-being, you'll burn out. And when that happens, it's not just you who suffers, it's your marriage, your relationships, your family. So, what does taking care of yourself look like? First, it starts with setting boundaries. It's crucial to draw a line between your work and your personal life. I know it's easier said than done, especially in a profession that requires your constant attention. But setting boundaries is a must for your marriage to thrive. When you leave work, leave it behind. Don't bring your patient's problems home with you. Set time aside just for your partner, your family, or for yourself. This leads me to our next point, communication. Often, nurses and healthcare workers are so exhausted that they simply don't have the energy to talk. They bottle things up, avoid difficult conversations, and hope the issues will resolve themselves. But here's the reality: problems don't resolve themselves. They only grow. So communicate openly with your spouse. Be honest about how you're feeling. Tell them when you're tired. Share your stress. Let them know when you need a break, when you need support. And equally important, listen. Listening is just as powerful as talking. Make time for those real conversations where you both share your worries, your dreams, and your fears. Another key aspect of saving your marriage is making time for intimacy. After long shifts, many healthcare workers simply want to crash into bed. But true intimacy, both emotional and physical, is vital to keeping your relationship strong. Take time to nurture that connection. It doesn't have to be grand gestures. Sometimes, it's as simple as holding hands during dinner, sharing a quiet moment on the couch, or taking a walk together after work. These small acts of affection go a long way in keeping the bond strong between you and your spouse. Trust is another critical element. Nurses and healthcare workers often find themselves in high-stress environments, surrounded by patients, colleagues who require their attention. Sometimes, this can create insecurity or suspicion in their partner, especially when working closely with the opposite sex. This is where trust becomes even more important. If you and your spouse are separated by distance or work pressures, keep the lines of communication open. Assure each other of your commitment and loyalty. Don't let silence fester into doubt. But let's talk about self-care. We can't talk about saving a marriage if we don't address the importance of self-care. It's more than just pampering yourself or taking a bubble bath. Self-care is about honoring your mental and emotional needs. It means taking time to rest, to recover, and to heal. Whether it's through exercise, reading a book, spending time with friends, or engaging in a hobby you love, make self-care a priority. When you feel good about yourself, you're able to give your best to your marriage. Next, it's essential to seek professional help when needed. There's no shame in seeing a therapist or counselor, especially if you've reached a point where communication has broken down or where emotional exhaustion is overwhelming. Therapists can help you and your partner work through unresolved issues and develop better coping strategies. Sometimes, a neutral third party is all it takes to help you both see each other's perspective and find common ground. Lastly, remember that no one is perfect. You are doing the best you can under incredibly difficult circumstances. But if you're truly committed to saving your marriage, make sure both you and your spouse are involved in the healing process. It takes effort from both sides to rebuild trust, to reconnect, and to make the relationship a priority. So, what's the takeaway? Set boundaries between work and home. Communicate openly and honestly with your spouse. Make time for intimacy emotionally and physically. Build trust through openness and reassurance. Prioritize self-care. You can't care for others if you're not caring for yourself. Seek help when needed. There's no shame in asking for support. African nurses, healthcare workers, you are the heart of our healthcare system. You give, you sacrifice, and you care for others without hesitation. But remember, your health, your happiness, and your marriage matter too. You deserve love, respect, and the time and space to nurture your relationships. It's time to rewrite the narrative. You don't have to face these struggles alone. Together, we can heal the healer and rebuild the relationships that deserve to thrive. Sit tight, like, share, and subscribe because you do not want to miss the next one. Thank you.